The notice requirement provided for the, we can get the, are we started on Zoom?
Recording in progress.
There we go. The notice requirement provided for the open public meeting law has been satisfied. Notice was properly given. Said notice having been transmitted to the Courier News on Tuesday, January 16th, 2024, as well as posting on the city's website. Clerk, roll call.
Council members Briggs Jones.
Present.
Cherry.
Present.
McCray. Sessoms.
Present.
Wyatt.
Present.
Vice President Graham.
Present.
Council President Hockaday.
Present.
All members present in a quorum.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all those who work for justice and all those who work for peace. Amen.
We have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of July 8th, 2024. Looking for a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? All right. We'll first move to consideration of public hearing, second reading, and final passage. We have ordinances MC 2024-39 through MC 2024-45, which are scheduled for public hearing and final passage for the regular meeting as advertised. Regarding legislative body items, we have resolutions 327-24 to 328-24. Do we have the consensus to add these two items to the voting meeting?
Second.
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, those items are added. Okay, will the business administrator please present your items?
Good evening. I only have one item this evening, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions from council members? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Do we have consensus to add this item to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, that should be added to the voting meeting. Okay, Corporation Counsel.
Thank you, Council President. I have two items for consideration this evening. Are there any questions?
Okay. Any questions from council members? Okay, hearing and seeing none. I'll entertain a motion to add it to the voting meeting. A second? May I have a second for the?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, those items are added to the voting meeting. The Department of Finance, right ahead.
Good evening, all. I have 4 items for your approval today. Are there any questions?
Okay, council members?
I had a question for R332-24. So this is an appropriation for $3.5 million. Is that correct?
Yes, so this would be additional grants that were received since the budget's now already done.
Correct.
So any grants that come in, you might see this on a monthly basis that we have at chapter 159.
Yes. So did we forecast this appropriation in our budget? And is this going to
So this
offset,
will be
or
added to the budget.
will this offset the budget, or how does this help us?
And it's added twice. So in your package, you'll see that it goes in as an appropriation and it goes in as revenue. It goes in both ways, so it offsets each other. It's a grant, and we don't have to put out any money for it, to spend, to do anything. So it comes in and it goes out, and you should see that outlined in your package.
So
It's
for,
an in and out.
so I understand. So for a taxpayer, how does this help the taxpayer? Could you help the taxpayer understand that? How the appropriation would benefit?
It does not impact the taxpayer at all.
Okay.
No. It just impacts what projects or whatever these grants are associated with. That's the assistance that we get.
Okay, thank
But
you.
It doesn't impact the tax rate. There's no lower rate, no higher rate, nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from council members regarding the Department of Finance items? Okay, I'll entertain a motion and a second to add these items to the voting meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, such items shall be added to the voting meeting. Would someone from the administration present the police department items?
I will do that. The police director is not able to join us this evening, but I am happy to answer any questions on his 2 items.
Okay, any council members have any questions about the 2 resolutions for the police department?
I do, Council President.
Go right ahead, Councilman.
R336-24, the subsidy that we will get for this campaign. I read the documents. It said that it's used for the overtime of the police officers. Can any of it use to do any marketing of this Drive Sober campaign?
I don't think that that is the plan. I think that the plan is to use it for overtime for them to be able to do stops and extra patrol for looking for DUIs.
And do we have a marketing plan, a comms plan on how we're going to get the word out to the community?
I'm trying to think of what he's done in years past. I'm not sure we want to advertise it so much because, you know, we definitely want to be able to catch people and not have them be so on alert that the police are out there looking for this. But I will ask him what general driving under the influence communications he does, and I'll follow up with you on that.
Yeah, my intent is more so about stopping the driving while intoxicated, not so much trying to tip folks off, but if we can stop it, then it doesn't,
Yeah.
then we don't have to worry about
So the
arresting
education
folks.
piece,
Yes.
I'll find out what funds, where he gets his funds for education and what he does with that.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to add these items to the voting meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, thank you. The Director of Economic Development.
Good evening, Council President. I have resolutions 338, 24 through 347, 24. I will be happy to answer.
Okay, do you have any questions from council members?
Yeah, so for R340-24, I see the Plainfield was awarded $1.2 million in fiscal year '23. When do these dollars expire? And what other items can be used?
So they don't expire. We have to propose program items to draw down on those funds. Those allocations are based on population and funding-based funds. But we have to propose items to the authorization board to draw down.
So what other items?
So items we've used it for so far, we always use it for marketing and communications, we use it for festivals, we use it for our Sign of Facade program, we also use it for our security gate program, and we have it for our ongoing administration.
Thank you.
Council President,
Go right ahead.
R340-24. I have questions about the units that we are looking to purchase. I believe it says 6 units and 1 trailer. My question is, how many of these units does the city already have in its arsenal?
You were referring to item 340?
Yes.
340 right now, this is proposed by the emergency management system, so we currently have vehicles in the management system. This right now is to allow us to have vehicles that could traverse evacuation in a flood situation, and also they would be equipped with first responder equipment. but the director of fire might want to detail it, or the director of emergency management.
No, we don't have any, right now, we don't have any of these particular vehicles that are here. These vehicles will be coming from the UEZ. And will be used in the UEZ zone to further promote the stability of the city, welcoming in, new developments, seeing that we have emergency management equipment ready and available to respond in all situations.
Thank you, Director.
Speaking of the UAZ, we have a resolution to award a contract to draft a 5-year plan. Has there been any guidelines or that we've given to the prospective individuals that'll draft that plan? Is there any particular themes?
Yes. So it's meant for a strategic planning process. It will go out for a 5-year action plan. So we would look at existing conditions as well as identify opportunities and challenges for economic development. It will also identify some of the key issues for implementation, including timelines, benchmarks related to retail, related to any business strategy within the UEZ. It will also look at the boundaries of the UEZ to determine whether we need to redefine the geographic.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any other council members wish to?
Yes.
Go right ahead. Councilman Briggs.
R 341-24. I see you have several properties listed. And my question is, what's going on these properties? Are they in more apartments? They're condos, two-family houses? I would need to know, if you can please just explain to me as well as our constituents that are out there in the audience as well and those that are listening. I just had a conversation with my neighbor about that 608 West 4th, which is 3 properties down from my house. And as she explained to me, that was a little tiny house that was there. And I don't know what's going on in that piece, but it's definitely not enough room to put anything there, not even, almost even a closet. So, and her family, and her house is right directly next to it. So, explain, first of all, start with the 608 West 4th Street. I'm interested in that one. The 659 West 4th, this, the South 2nd Street. Everything that's on the 4th Ward, I want to know about it. Or you could just break down this 341-24, tell me what's going on these properties.
Sure. These properties are explicitly being looked at because they are smaller, undersized lots, and they will be looked at for affordable housing home ownership. These are subsized lots, so typically for a single-family home, they need to be at least 5,000 square feet. In a lot of cases, these are smaller than 5,000 square feet, so we will only be looking at single-family homes for home ownership, and the bulk standards will have to be adjusted because these are undersized lots.
Okay. Now, does that go for all of these addresses that list?
Some of these lots are over 5,000 square feet. They will be looked at for two-family homes. All of these lots will be looked at for affordable home ownership.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification, because that's what we need, home ownership. That math is mathing now. Thank you.
I had a question regarding 343-24. Will this project have affordable housing involved in it?
343-24?
Yes.
343-24 will be looking at affordable townhomes. These will be for rent, but these will be affordable townhomes. Actually, these will be for a home ownership as well, pardon me.
Okay, and with that being said, and with the home ownership element added to it, I'm assuming that there'll be some sort of deed restriction on these properties?
All of the properties that we are currently studying for affordable home ownership will be deed restricted, including the ones that we look at that will be for affordable rents are still deed restricted.
Okay, and can you, if you don't mind, can you just quickly explain the formula? Like, what does affordable housing look like in the city of Plainfield as far as the area median income and things like that?
Sure. So affordable housing is based on area median income. In Plainfield, the median income is $70,000. So affordable ranges anywhere from 30% of the area median income to 120% of the median income, and 120% is workforce housing. What that looks like is that a studio apartment would, at 30% of the area median income, would rent for about $700 a month. At 120% of the area median income, a studio apartment will rent for $1,600 a month.
Thank you, Director.
Other council people like to ask questions of the director?
Yes, Council President, R 345-24, Leland Avenue. That property is being studied for redevelopment, but currently there's a church and a daycare center there. What would happen to them?
The property is being studied for redevelopment at the request of the Vision of God Church. The Vision of God Church is looking to rehab both the church sanctuary as well as the daycare center, and looking at the possibility of adding a wellness center for the community.
So they would not be displaced?
No.
Thank you.
Further questions?
Yes. Director,
Yes.
thank you for your explanation on the resolutions. I know the usual format is we go one by one. So I do thank you for clarifying, what was that, 341-24? Can we just do the same for 342? You did 343, so 342, 344, and what was the last one? Yeah, those two.
342 is also a redevelopment study for affordable townhomes for sale. 344 is a redevelopment study for affordable workforce housing that would be for rent.
So 44 you said for rent?
Yes.
Okay, and I also would just like to also commend you. I know the last meeting, the council was tasked with going to find developers who were looking to build single-family homes or multifamily homes. They said there was no financing for that, but in 4 weeks, I see that you were able to do that. So I just want to commend you for finding people that were willing and able to come to Plainfield and build those homes. Thank you.
Next question. Also, could you just give us a little bit more information also on R 343-24 also as well?
343-24 is also a redevelopment study for affordable townhomes for purchase.
Townhomes, okay.
All right. Do we have a consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Let's, tell me which one you would not like on the meeting, and I will.
R 343-24.
Okay. All right. So do we have the consensus to add all items save for R 343-24 to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And we'll vote on that one separately.
Thank you.
Do we need a roll call to add that to the voting meeting? You're good to go?
Consensus.
All right, cool. All right, the Department of Health and Social Services.
Good evening, Council President and Council. The Department of Health and Social Services has 11 items, and I will be glad to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions from council members?
R 349-24 It says that in the past year, we received 20,000 and change, but in the new, it's 91,000 over 3 years, so it we're getting an increase in that? Am I reading that correctly?
Right, we're applying for an increase.
Okay. This is just the application, we haven't been awarded?
That's correct.
Okay. And in R352-24, I believe the resolution, the opening of the resolution said 34,636, but then the resolution said 40,000. So do we anticipate that it might increase?
I think it should be 40,000, and that's an error. That's an error on our part.
Council President?
Can we have the corrected? All right.
Yes, R353-24. Can you just explain the grant and explain how the city plans to utilize this grant?
So these funds, we generally use for what's called homeless prevention. And so those funds are generally used to prevent people from becoming homeless. So that's really rental assistance, that's any kind of food assistance. It's really called housing diversion. And that's what we primarily use those funds, to keep people from becoming homeless.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
R358-24, is that person currently in the position, and how long has it gone vacant?
That position was vacant since February of this year. Let me just double check for you. Yeah, that person was vacant since February of this year. We reached out to, well, I don't know how many more, it's since February since this year. We advertised in multiple schools as well.
Okay. Good. Is that a full-time position there in the office?
It is a full-time position.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other council members before we? Okay. Do we have consensus to add all of these items to the voting meeting?
So
Yes.
move.
Okay. Any opposition or abstentions?
Yes. Abstaining from R354-24.
Okay. Noted for the record?
Yes, during the time of the, it's
Excuse me.
duly noted that you're abstained for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. We'll move to items on ordinances on first reading. Would the BA present the ordinances listed on first reading?
Yes, we have five ordinances and 4 bond ordinances for capital improvement on for this evening. And my colleagues and I are ready to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions from my council colleagues regarding these items on first reading?
No questions? I would just like, go, I'm sorry. I defer.
I'm sorry. Okay, Councilman White.
Okay, on, what is this? I'm sorry, 1 second. 2024-46. Let me see, on the first reading. I just wanted to clarify, I did receive many of phone calls, but I did speak to someone yesterday that clarified it for me. In reading it, this is the ordinance that will allow, it's pretty much trying to stop people that running commercial businesses in residential areas. So just for an example, it's one household, they have 9 cars that they're working on. So that creates an impact on the quality of life for your neighbors around you. So this ordinance, what people were calling today, they said the city is going to allow the police officers and code enforcement to come onto private property. But the part that I think that we really need to messaging to put out there to the community is the stipulation. So it says, through the abatement process, the city of Plainfield may also tow vehicles from private property if any of the following conditions exist. A, if the owner of a vehicle fails to respond to summonses and/or warrants issued by the city of Plainfield Municipal Court and city agencies within 30 days. The second one is if 4 or more summonses have been issued to the owner of a vehicle and the owner has not responded to the City of Plainfield Municipal Court. So I would like to thank the administration. This is greatly written. And just to give the people who had concerns regarding this, constituents that reached out and called, these stipulations are in place, so it's not like they'll just ride by, see a vehicle on your property and say, you know what, we're going to encroach your property and tow the vehicle there. So I just wanted to give kudos the way that this was written and explain this to the community. That was it.
Thank you. Any other council members?
So I just wanted to see if you could clarify just a little bit about MC 2024-46. So if I'm reading this correctly, it's if you have a commercial vehicle on your property. So I see a lot of my residents, they may have a tractor trailer that is parked in their driveway, or they may have a HVAC company that they own. So what you're saying in this ordinance is that it will be towed.
It can be
Can be.
after following the abatement process. So if either A or B are true, then it can be. A or B that Councilman Wyatt just read.
Correct.
It's a next step.
So how are we enforcing, and I know that, how soon are we enforcing this?
So, you mean when will this become effective?
Correct.
This is the first
At the
reading.
first, yeah.
Second meeting, and then 20 days.
20 days.
So we're looking at end of September.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council members? If not, I'll ask for a motion if we have consensus. I'll ask if we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions or opposition? Okay, we have consensus to add those items on first reading to the voting meeting. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute recess and come back at 7:46. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to return to our voting meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, we are back. We'll next move to consideration of public hearing, second reading, and final passage. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read MC 2024-39 by title and further certify that it's complied with all statutory publication requirements.
MC 2024-39 is an ordinance amending the schedule of salaries and wages adopted pursuant to Article 14, Chapter 11 of the Municipal Code of the City of Plainfield, New Jersey, 1971, Salary Amendment, Plainfield Municipal Employees Association, PMEA. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on July 10, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak on this particular ordinance. If you're online, instructions are on the website in terms of what to dial. It's also on Facebook, posted conspicuously. Hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close public comment.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public comment on this hearing, on this ordinance is now closed. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage? And if adopted, this
So
ordinance
moved.
shall be published as required by law.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-39, council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay, Madam Deputy Clerk, please read MC 2024-40 by title and certify as complied with the law.
MC 2024-40 is an ordinance for a four-way stop intersection at Rushmore Avenue and West 3rd Street to amend and supplement Chapter 16, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 7, through streets, stop intersections, stop and yield intersections, designating certain four-way stop and three-way stop intersections. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on July 10th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open for any member of the public who would like to speak on this particular ordinance. Hearing and seeing none, I entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage? And
So
if-
moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-40, council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read MC 2024-41 by title and certify it's complied with the law.
MC 2024-41 is an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of 153 East 4th Street, designated as Block 840, Lot 4, and known as The Alley, from the City of Plainfield to 306 Watchung LLC. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on July 10th, 2024.
Okay. The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on MC 2024-41. Hearing and seeing none, may I have a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, oppositions, abstentions. Hearing and seeing none, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-41, council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-42 by title and certify that it's complied with the law.
MC 2024-42 is an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of 543 West 4th Street, designated as Block 772, Lot 1, from the City of Plainfield to Shiloh Baptist Church of Plainfield. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on July 10th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak regarding MC 2024-42. Hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposition or abstentions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-42. Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Madam Deputy Clerk, MC 2024-43, please.
MC 2024-43 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union granting a tax exemption with respect to certain property identified on the city's tax map as Block 535, Lot 3, and designated in the city's tax records as 1123-25 West 7th Street, Plainfield, New Jersey, and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with 1123 West 7th Urban Renewal, LLC. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on July 10th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open for any member of the public who'd like to speak regarding MC 2024-43. Name and address for the record, sir.
Yes, my name is Richard Loosley at 310 Hillcrest Avenue in Plainfield. I rise in opposition to approval of this tax exemption for development of 1123, 1125 West 7th Street. Since I was here last month, I went to the city engineer's office and looked on the zoning map, and I saw that 1123, 1125 West 7th Street is in an R3 low to medium density single-family residential district. I don't think this council should be awarding a tax exemption to a developer who wants to come in and build a high-density apartment building in a low to medium density single-family residential district. I think it sends the wrong message to developers that they could come in and ignore what the city council has established as the zoning districts in this town and ask for special treatment. I think the residents of a specific zone should expect that the zone ordinance be observed and that their expectations not be frustrated by having a developer come in and completely change what they have reasonably expected to be their nice single-family, low to medium density residence in the case of this R3 zone. So I would encourage a no vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Floor remains open regarding this resolution. Name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Christian Lawrenson, and I live at 308 West 8th Street. I'd also like to speak out about the same ordinance. As somebody who lives next to apartment buildings, even though I'm in a residential area, my husband and I moved from the city. We were really looking forward to living in a suburb, building relationships with neighbors. We absolutely love our house, but we hate the location, and we almost didn't buy the house because we have an apartment building directly to one side of us. We have an apartment building across the street, and then on the two opposite corners are two houses that are being used as apartment buildings. So we have one single-family home on our block. We've built a really nice relationship with the neighbors there. But other than that, it's really hard to form community in your neighborhood when it's a revolving door of neighbors. We've had issues as well with just people being really disrespectful neighbors. And your quality of life definitely goes down. If you've got 50 people living across the street, the odds are you always are going to have one bad neighbor in the bunch. If you have one neighbor, maybe they'll be good, maybe they won't be the greatest neighbors, but you're pretty much guaranteed that there's always going to be a bad apple in a big building. There were days where there were 6 times police were called for noise violations. People would roll out speakers and blast them from the apartments for literally the entire day. And that would be our Saturday, or working from home. I would have to mute myself because we had loud music playing. And when you've got a neighbor that you live there and they're invested in the neighborhood, they're less likely to do that because they want you to show the same respect to them. People who are, not planning to stay around for a long time aren't as worried about building lasting relationships with their neighbors. So please think about the people that are already there, that are trying to keep these homes up. They want a good quality of life in these neighborhoods, and they want to keep these relationships with their neighbors or build them with their neighbors. Please don't take that away from them by putting these massive apartments up, or even small apartments, where the people aren't going to have that same desire, and they won't maybe be there long-term to build relationships. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Is there anyone online? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any abstentions or abstentions? Okay. Public hearing on this ordinance is now closed. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, shall be published as required by law?
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there any other motion? Perhaps to
table it?
table it? I have a motion and no second so far. But let's take some action. Motion to table?
Can I make a motion to table?
Second.
Okay. Can we have a roll call on table?
So roll call on the motion to table ordinance MC 2024-43. Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray, Sessoms,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Graham,
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
6 in favor, 1 opposed. This ordinance has been tabled.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-44 by title and certify that it is complied with all statutory publication requirements.
MC 2024-44 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield and the County of Union granting a tax exemption with respect to certain property identified on the city's tax map as Block 341, Lot 2, and Block 344, Lot 3, and designated in the city tax records as 336-346 Johnson Avenue and 768-900 North Avenue, Plainfield, New Jersey, and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with North Ave Warehouse OZ Urban Renewal LLC. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on July 10th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open for any member of the public who would like to speak regarding MC 2024-44. Hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, I will, can I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final
So
passage?
moved.
Second.
Clerk, can I have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2024-44. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
As unanimous, the ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-25.
MC 2024-45 is an ordinance authorizing the First Amendment of the financial agreement with SWE Plainfield Development Urban Renewal LP with respect to certain property identified as Block 233, Lots 2, 3, 7, and 12 on the official tax map of the city. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on July 10th, 2024.
Okay. The floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak regarding this ordinance. Good evening. Name and address for the record.
Nancy Pugh, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. Council members, I have a concern with MC 2024-45. This is very intensive development for this area, 501 units and 706 parking spaces. I attended the planning board meeting on August 1st, 2024, where this development was discussed. I raised the issues of the environment and the issue of traffic. No amended traffic study was presented, which was concerning. Traffic in this area is already a nightmare and a public safety issue to the approximately 95 structures, mostly residences that are located between Plainfield Avenue and Grant Avenue, which is 4/10 of a mile in distance. Which has no north or south escapes. Emergency vehicles can only access the majority of the homes by traveling east or west. The railroad tracks in Brook are in the way, and adding any more vehicles to this area will exacerbate the traffic problems and the public safety issues that already exist. I was pleasantly surprised that one of the expert witnesses confirmed that this property has an environmental issue. One of the reasons this development agreement needs to be amended because it was too cost prohibitive to put a parking garage underground with the historic ground issue. Removal of the contaminated dirt was too costly, and now the parking garages needed to be above ground. If this property has an environmental issue, meaning it is contaminated by past usages, why is the required notice to the public not located in the public right-of-way where it can be seen without having to step into the property from the sidewalk from West Front Street? Why is the sign not both in Spanish and English as required by law? There is no sign on Waynewood Park side of this property, which may have a different NJDEP PI number. Why has this property been allowed to have dirt piles for all these months with no tarps or protection on the soil that was disturbed when the buildings were demolished? This is a heavily traveled, walkable area by women and children and men, and they walk there on an hourly basis. And there's not to mention all the vehicle traffic. People want to have trust in government and in the developers, but this illustrates to the public that there's no concern whatsoever to protect human health and environment. The location of the required signs breeds great distrust and disdain and is unacceptable. This is just an illustration to the public that alleged greed is overcoming what is right, moral, and ethical, and why the public distrusts the government and developers. If the environmental sign is not located where the majority of people passing by can see it, how can the public trust that the ground will be properly capped or covered? People will be living on this land. I am not against development. I am for reasonable and moral and ethical development that takes into consideration the public health and the environment. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Name and address for the record.
Sal Carano, 1284 East Front Street. I too am addressing that particular property or properties. Nancy said it best. It's greed. It's bad enough that there are thousands of units going up. Now we're taking units to an all new level. It really is political greed, financial greed. When you're now putting them in low density areas or trying to, so I commend you on the previous vote, or ignoring environmental issues, or putting it, you might be following the letter of the law, but if we put it over here and not the public sees it when they're walking, then we really satisfied the law, but who knows about it? This, guys, is overreaching. You need to take a breath, back up. This is the beginning of a rebellion of overgrowing your city, because now you're kind of smudging and encroaching on a lot of communities. Slow it down, people. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing on this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage? And if adopted, this ordinance shall be published as required by law. No second? It's like the last.
Council
Motion-
President, can I make a motion to table this?
Oh, yes.
Second.
Thank you, Council.
All those, let's have a roll call on the motion to table.
Certainly. Roll call on the motion to table MC 2024-45. Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms,
Yes.
Wyatt.
I'm just trying to think, because I'm afraid if we table it, it'll come back and things may change. Yes, I'll table it. Vote to table.
Vice President Graham,
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been tabled.
Okay, we now move to public comments limited to resolutions, motions, and ordinances to be introduced on first reading. Total of 30 minutes has been allocated. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. Please state your name, address, and the resolution or ordinance that you wish to speak about. It's not generic public comment yet. That's coming shortly. You're welcome. No worries.
Good evening, Maria and Sari, Watchung Avenue. R34324. That section of Woodland Avenue is 4 acres of wooded area. It's all woods. As I recall, the entire section around it is single-family housing. It's on a slope. The thought of removing all those trees, sending wildlife through the neighborhood, allowing flooding to occur. You mentioned townhouses, and I believe it was said they would be purchased, owned. Or how many townhouses are we talking about? Because 5, that's going to look pretty ugly. It's just not fitting with the section. I also get very concerned about ownership, owner-occupied versus developers purchasing for rental. And that would be a very nice area to do rental, just like that whole section behind it in Scotch Plains. The other one is R34524. A wellness center was was mentioned. What's the nature of the wellness center? What's the definition? Is it a clinic? Is it a drug wellness? Is it women and children? What does wellness center in that resolution mean? Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead. Go ahead. Ladies first.
Thanks. Okay, I've never been here before, so I apologize. But in regards to 34324 as well. Oh, Julie Davidovich, 1121 Woodland Avenue, Plainfield. So I am actually the neighbor of that lot. And I can tell you that previously there was a developer who was building on top of my house, like on top of the hill, and they had went into the easement and they had built a gas line that ran through, like across that hill into Woodland Avenue. What ended up happening was there was a trench that was probably like 10 feet deep that ended up flooding Woodland Avenue. We needed to have police officers come, redirect traffic. It affected civilians. It affected me. It was vile to look at. It went on for 6 months. I was not present for whatever hearing might have taken place in order to allow that to occur, and I regret it. I don't want it to happen again. I also have a 4.5-year-old daughter who, God forbid they start developing this area, is going to certainly be affected by all the noise. I'm listing my house for sale because I'm kind of tired of all the nonsense, to be honest. And I could tell you on the record that these houses are not affordable, as my house is being listed currently under value at $800,000, and it is supposedly going to have a bidding war on it. So the townhouses that are right next to it are going to be valued somewhere between $750,000 to $950,000, which is not affordable housing. So I would like to put that on the record because it's dishonest. And to put something like that into perspective even further, I personally had a discussion with the owner of that property a number of years ago, and he told me that he was looking to build a cul-de-sac, which would definitely create a mudslide, a tremendous one. And it's built on a slope, right? So what happens if you build on a slope? You're disturbing the land, right? So now my house could have foundational issues. It's most likely going to happen. And the neighborhood is definitely going to be disturbed. Everybody's aggravated by it. Frank Johnson used to work, I think, for this council. I think many of you might know him. He's not happy about it either. Nobody in the neighborhood likes it. Nobody wants it. And it's additionally going to drive all the animals and wildlife that currently live there onto my property and onto my neighbor's property. So you're talking about deers, raccoons, mice, and I've incurred so many fees from this lot as it sits right now, from having to pay additional money for yard cleanup, from everything that's flying over. There's garbage in there. They're not even maintaining it as it is. They are looking to utilize this land just to make money. Like, let's call a spade a spade. They don't care about the neighborhood. They don't care about what it looks like. They don't care about the fact that they're taking away one of the last beautiful sections that's so private and isolated and gorgeous. This doesn't exist anymore in New York and New Jersey. I'm sorry, I don't know if I went too far, but it's
That's
just,
okay.
the list is long, and
Thank
it doesn't end. And this guy's been trying to do this for 35 years.
Thank you.
Sorry, okay, I'm done.
Sal Carano, 1284 East Front Street, 343-24. This may sound self-serving, but it's not. I'm a real estate agent for over 20 years. I've lived in Plainfield over 53 years. Many of you weren't even born, well enough served your community on the Hovanian property on Woodland Avenue. Tearing down trees they shouldn't have, that's why they had to replant trees. Going up a slope so steep that fire trucks were worried about coming back down, and only one way up. The cul-de-sac, I believe, don't hold me to the numbers, 22 properties, 14 Scotch Plains, 8 Plainfield. In that cul-de-sac, there have been many before some of you that have attempted to develop the undeveloped property, which may include what we're talking about this evening on that road. You need to learn from the wisdom of the people that came before you and the mistakes that were made that could never be corrected, especially about the first responders going up that hill. Thank you.
Hi, Christian Lawrenson, 308 West 8th Street. I also wanted to just speak a little for 343-24. The worry that I have is not only the wildlife, but we're having more severe storms and they're happening more frequently. We just had a big storm this weekend. Right now, that's absorbing a lot of the water. I was by that property today, and it's a steep slope down, and then there's a street full of houses across the street. Across Woodland, there's houses. The water's going to go somewhere, and it's probably going to be in somebody's basement. But like was said before, we can't undo this. Once it's done, and we have so little undeveloped land. We're a really dense city. New Jersey is the densest state in the nation. And there was just a New York Times article that was talking about how we are the fastest warming state in the nation. And it said that the reasons for that, development is one of them. Increased development in some parts of the state contribute to the state's rapid warming. And we're having an urban heat island effect in New Jersey. The state's land use patterns and development density create conditions that lead to an urban heat island effect. So we're doing this to ourselves, but my daughter is 1.5 years old. We've barely been outside to play this summer because it was too hot. And they say that it's only going to get worse from here. The only thing we can do to try to counter this is to plant more trees and to leave the little bits of woodland and wetland that we have left. I don't understand why this would be named as an area in need of redevelopment. A woodland doesn't need to be redeveloped. It's already serving a very important purpose that serves everyone who lives here, because we're all going to be part of this heat island. And I think more thought needs to be given to our children, our grandchildren, our own quality of life, than developers who don't even live here that are harming the environment. So I hope you vote no on this as well.
We do have a generic public comment, which you're welcome to come back at that time. Name, address, and the resolution that you're speaking regarding. Thank you.
My name is Carolyn A. Johnson. I live on Woodland Avenue, 1104 Woodland. Been there a lot of years. I'm calling in reference to, because I don't think I have all the information at all, and I live on Woodland. They want to take down the land where all the trees are and put in 5 houses. Did I hear that correctly? I think that's a bit insane. You know, and I'm going to tell you why. I, as a resident of a community, you know, you got to have space. You need to have places that look like it's welcoming. You need to have places that do a balance. I understand that this got to be about money. You know what I'm trying to say? Instead of trying to build something. Because my other question is, if they're going to change that area, how come no one has sent me anything? I live at 1104 Woodland. Nothing about any of this taking place. I would like to have some information on it. Also, I think that Plainfield is a beautiful city because of the size of the houses, and also the interior, big homes, which is great. But I still don't think they should come tear down some of the beautiful areas that you have that let you know that it's still not just somewhere where we got houses and let's see how many people we can put in the building. So I would like some more information on what it is they want to do, and I can give you my address so we can start to write it up. I don't know any of you from what I can tell. And I've lived in this town more than 25 years. So I need to know something a little more. I'm just looking around. I don't know. I know this, I've seen this gentleman. That's about it. But anyway, if you're going to do something that's going to tear down and change the community in which you live, and I don't just mean one house, but a series of homes, you should at least let the individuals in those particular areas know what is going on and what you'd like to do.
Joanne Bandomer, 1108 Hillside Avenue, about 34324. We live on Hillside Avenue at the bottom of Marlborough Avenue, so this is the lot that's right directly ahead of me. When we first moved into our house in '74, my son used to play up there with Snake Pond, and I always thought it was a retention area, a flood area, and this is not the first time development has been looked at for that section. There have been other people coming forward, and the city sensibly, I guess, voted against it. And I'm surprised that we're at this point again, with so many of the properties are actually going to be in Scotch Plains. Is that true? Is it all Plainfield homes? It is?
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, again, I thought somebody said, you know, beginning properties are in Plainfield, but then the back end of it would be.
Well, finish your comment. I don't want to
all right.
interrupt your.
So I go along with what everyone else has said about the flood thing, because now we've had to put in sump pumps and French drains in our house because successive storms that have come, the water comes down Marlborough Avenue, hits our house, and we are the stopgap there. And I can only imagine that if we lose that little bit of wetland up there, it's only going to impact us more. So I would hope that people would understand, if not just for a beautiful little cul-de-sac of woods there, which kept a little bit of a country going, as some people have said, just the impact that it's going to have on Marlborough Avenue and the people that are downhill of that. Thank you.
Nancy Fewer, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. One paragraph that I left out of my other comments may be related to R343-24. Plainfield has the worst air quality than 76% of the cities in New Jersey, according to First Street, a provider of climate risk data that I found on the internet today. I saw a report online done by Union County, which indicated that Plainfield has almost twice the percentage of asthma rates than all of Union County. And Plainfield is also on this. The report is from 2022. If any of the city council members want it, I'd be happy to email it to you. To take down a grove of trees that can help with restore some air quality is unconscionable. We just passed the tree ordinance. We're supposed to have an environmental commission, and I'm just concerned of the loss of all those trees and what it's going to do to the surrounding neighbors and also to the air quality in the city of Plainfield. Thank you.
Name and address for the record and the resolution you are speaking regarding.
Sure. Quanae Palmer Chambers, 1227 East Front Street, Apartment 43B, Plainfield, New Jersey. I'm speaking to Resolution 357-24, and that is shared services between the City of Plainfield and the City of Elizabeth. I'm just curious as to what those are. And I'm also would like to question R358-24, resolution authorizing a residency waiver. I think last time I came here and I asked about residency waivers in order to hire people to work for the City of Plainfield. And I think my problem is, as a retired educator, why aren't we graduating young people from Plainfield High School that can come back and take their place in city government in these jobs that keep going for waivers for people who don't live here? I think that's something that we should be concerned about. Are we exposing young people to what opportunities are available to them with their tax dollars, where they could come, where they could work, the variety of jobs that are available to them, and what kind of education they need to get to come back and be able to take these jobs? Because I keep seeing these residency waivers. I don't know how many people you've hired in the last month, and I don't know how many residency waivers that you're giving, but I do know the last council meeting, I think there were 2 residency waivers given so people can come who don't live in Plainfield to make money off the tax dollars that we pay here in Plainfield. And I think we really need to look into that to make sure that we're qualifying people that live here to be able to get a return on the tax dollars that they pay here. Thank you.
Okay, I entertain a motion to close.
We have 2 people virtual.
Okay. Admit the first one in. Please unmute yourself, name, address, and resolution you're speaking regarding, please.
So far, they're still muted. Would you like for me to go to the next person?
Go to the next, please.
Caller ending in 030. You're unmuted. You can speak.
Gloria Binkowski, Woodmere Place in Plainfield.
Okay. Address and resolution you're speaking regarding, please. And the floor is yours.
Hello?
We can hear you. If you
Gloria
are watching us
Binkowski,
on
Woodmere
the...
Place in Plainfield. I'm not sure of the number of the resolution, but yes, Woodmere Place in Plainfield. Woodmere Place in Plainfield, Gloria Zinkowski. There's some time delay. Okay, so I'm talking about the resolution to develop Woodland Avenue, and also the other apartments, the apartment on West 9th Street. But I applaud the people who are resisting that and asking you to table this. Now, I think people in government are talking about global warming and trees, but put your money where your mouth is. And maybe you need to have, I don't know if there's an environmental group in high school in Plainfield, come and give you a teach-in about the importance of trees and the environment and not developing every little piece of land. I don't know what your motive is in acceding to these developments, but it's not going to be a good outcome. So, yes, I hope you table these resolutions, and going forward, I hope you throw them out the door. Thank you. Good night.
Is the other person still there?
They're still here.
All right, we'll try it one more time before we move on.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. It's working. It wasn't working before. Hi, I'm Kathleen Nietzsche from 716 Huntington Avenue. I'm calling regarding Resolution 643-24 Woodland Avenue. I would like to agree with the comments that were mentioned before, especially regarding the flood area, the environmental impact, and the impact on the woodlife, the wildlife in that area. I'd also like to agree with Sal Carano's earlier comments regarding taking a breath and looking at how many developments we are making. Right now, it seems like when you go into town, there are so many people you can hardly get through the West End. Making more developments, I'm not against developing. However, I think we're at a stage right now where we need to take a breath and not be any planner that wants to make any kind of housing, making it like an open house. Like, okay, throw a bid and we will take you. Maybe we need to just take a breath and see what the impact is going to be on the future, on our environment, on our quality of life. There were children on Front Street and also on going down Central Avenue, Grant Avenue, Plainfield Avenue. They're playing soccer on little spots of land, and they actually, the one place on Grant Avenue has like a cloth fence around their front yard. There is no place for these children to play. Maybe some of these properties need to be made into some open area with some trees so children can have just a place to go and take a breath outside and play. Where are these children from these different apartments, or just people get some place to go and just clear their mind? Our parks are very crowded, they're being utilized, but at some point they're going to be overutilized. So that's my comments. I hope you really think about what the impact is going to be, especially on Woodland Avenue. We have a brand new track. Will that water be going into that brand new track and causing us to pay for repairs in the future? Let's think a little bit about the future and how will this actually go forward? How will it impact us before we actually take a shovel and start to dig for those new properties? Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, may I have a motion to close public comments?
So move.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, allow for the Director of Economic Development to address some of the concerns that were mentioned. I guess I'll ask an initial question. In terms of the any concerns about water retention, water runoff, flooding, are there things that developers or the city could do to minimize disruption of the water to residents?
Sure. So, Council President, just to recognize that this is a study right now, there has been no decision moving forward about development, but a part of that study is to do a complete site plan analysis, which includes an environmental assessment, which will also include the stormwater runoff. So we are aware that there are wetlands there. We are aware that there is a little pond there. There are requirements that it would be protected. in those areas. So there's certain part of this parcel where all 4.2 acres could not be developed, and that's according to DEP standards.
Okay, thank you.
Can I
Yeah,
answer? A few more
continue to
questions?
go.
So a part of this is that there is no decision about the number of units that will be on this parcel. So the 5 number is not true. That wasn't stated by the administration. In terms of looking at what will be evaluated at the site, we are still in the study phase, so we're not necessarily saying how many units are going to be on the site. We're not looking at the density. The bulk standards still have to be developed completely on this. In terms of the development, it's looked at as what as a revenue point of view, meaning that we're not collecting conventional taxes right now on the improvement, but looking at the possibility of what we could collect afterwards. I just want to make sure, Council President, are there any other specific questions that I could answer for you in terms of the development?
No. No, I don't have any other specific questions. Any council members have specific questions?
The affordable piece.
For the affordable housing? So the affordable housing that's there, it's looked at as a way for studying this for the potential of affordable townhomes that would be there. Is it definition of what is affordable in this area?
So could you define affordable? So one of our residents mentioned that her house is worth, what, $800,000. So if you're going to put affordable townhomes, so what is affordable in that area? Define that.
Yeah. Also, maybe talk about the deed restrictions and how that has an impact on how those properties don't value the same as a property market value would.
Okay. So one of the things that, and just to go back, because I heard a resident in this area, I just want to be clear that every time we study an area, it goes to the planning board. There is a notification of every property owner that's within a 200-foot radius that is required, that will be continued to happen should this move forward. So the notifications haven't gone out because we're just approving the study, so nothing has happened yet. In terms of affordability, what we define as affordable is looking at the area median income. So when you're looking at the area median income, you're looking at a median income for Plainfield of $70,000. So affordable in this case, where the house in that area is on a 1-acre lot, which is a single-family home, this would not be on this, and this would look at, well, how many units you have in there. So for a townhome, this would be possibly a 2-bedroom unit. And you're looking at the affordability of that. So I'm just going to do the affordability of a 1-bedroom unit. In this case, would most likely go from 80 to 100 AMI, because we are looking at the workforce development affordability. So when we are looking at that affordability, we're talking about roughly between 350 to a 400 purchase price, thousand purchase price. It did, I answered.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, that's the answer. I mean, the reality
For that
is,
area, right? For that area.
these properties are
So-
deed restricted. So
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So individuals would not be able to buy it at 300 or 400,000 and then flip it to someone for market value because of the enduring deed restrictions that will be contained in those conveyance documents, as far as I understand it.
Yes.
Am I-
So all of these properties will be deed restricted in terms of the income, in terms of the down payment of who is able to purchase, and they will have to be Plainfield residents, and in terms of the duration of the property ownership with the deed restriction.
Okay. All right.
So it would be a little different if it's on the west end, is that correct?
No.
What do you mean different?
Because you're talking about you talking about the area when you talk about the second ward versus the fourth ward, and you put in townhomes. So that townhome down on the west end is going to be 400,000 or 500,000, or is it going to be 75,000?
So when we talk about the area median income, it refers to the entire city median income.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we have that clear for the record, so that way our constituents know that western versus the eastern thing is going to always be. But we want it to be all wards. We want everything to be the same.
Right. That's it. That's 70,000 is for the entire city. And certainly residents from the west end of Plainfield would be just as qualified to apply to live in that area should they, that's neither here nor there.
And we want it to look the same too. We want it to look the same.
Any other questions?
Yes, Council President.
Go
Just
right
a
ahead.
question for clarification. So tonight, what's on the agenda is to vote for the financial agreement, correct?
Which resolution are you talking about?
Let's go back.
The financial.
MC 2024 dash, no, I'm sorry, it's the wrong one.
What is it?
Okay, I pulled the wrong one up. I'm sorry. No question.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from council colleagues before we've closed public comments? We're going to move forward with the consent agenda. All right, Mr. Clerk, let's please move forward with the consent agenda.
Yes, the consent agenda items have been identified as resolutions 327-24 through 342-24, 344-24 through 358-24, with an extension from Councilwoman Cherry on 354-24. Not on the consent agenda is resolution 343-24.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Okay, can I have a roll call?
Roll call on the consent agenda items. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That's unanimous. The consent agenda items have been approved. Move on to resolution R34324.
Okay. Let me see.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve motion 343-24?
343-24? No.
This is just for the study. All we're doing is approving just a study to see. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second? So we can get to a roll call.
In the absence of a second, the resolution fails.
Council President, can I make a motion to table this?
Second.
Third it.
Motion and second? Okay. Can we have a motion, the roll call on the tabling?
Roll call on the motion to table resolution R34324. Council members Briggs Jones.
Table it? Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That's unanimous. This resolution has been tabled.
Okay. Next item, please. Is that the last item?
Yes.
Okay.
Move on to ordinances on first reading.
Okay, we now move to ordinances on first reading. Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-46 by title.
MC 2024-46 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 16, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 16, Parking Temporarily Prohibited for Snow Plowing, Snow Removal, and Other Emergencies of the City Code for the City of Plainfield.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, roll call.
Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That's unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on first reading.
Thank you. Please read MC 2024-47.
MC 2024-47 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 13, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 4, Making of Excavations and Openings in Streets and Public Places, subsections 13:4-2, Definitions, 13:4-3, Permit Required, 13:4-4, Permit Application, and 13:4-17, Maintenance and Restoration of Openings.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-47. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-48.
MC 2024-48 is an ordinance by the City Council amending the City of Plainfield Code of Ordinances to repeal Chapter 17:12, MC 2002-29, 17:12-1, December 2nd, 2002, to adopt a new Chapter 17:12-1 in accordance with the Stormwater Management Rules at NJAC 7:8 and its amendments adopted March 2nd, 2020, and July 17th, 2023. The SCO meets minimum NJDEP requirements.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, can I have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2024-48. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been introduced.
Okay, MC 2024-49, please.
MC 2024-49 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the 10th Amendment to the 197 Scattered Sites Redevelopment Plan dated July 18th, 2024.
I'll entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-49. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That's unanimous. This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Thank you, Madam Deputy. Please read MC 2024-50.
MC 2024-50 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the condemnation redevelopment plan dated August 1st, 2024.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt this on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, can I have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2024-50. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
No.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
6 in favor, 1 opposed. This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Okay, Madam Deputy, would you please read Bond 1281 by title?
Bond 1281 is a bond ordinance providing for various 2024 capital acquisitions and improvements by and in the City of Plainfield, in the County of Union, State of New Jersey, appropriating $10,342,991, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $9,380,153 in bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
I'll entertain a motion in a second.
So moved.
Clerk, may I read? Oh, I didn't hear a second. Roll call, please.
Roll call, bond ordinance 1281. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
This bond ordinance has been introduced.
Madam Deputy, Bond 1282, please.
Bond 1282 is a bond ordinance providing for various sewer utility acquisitions and improvements by and for the sewer utility of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union, State of New Jersey, appropriating $845,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $795,000 in bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
Entertaining a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call, bond ordinance 1282. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This bond ordinance has been introduced.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read bond 1283.
Bond 1283 is a bond ordinance providing for various solid waste utility acquisitions and improvements by and for the solid waste utility of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,960,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,910,000 in bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt this on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, can I have a roll call?
Roll call, bond ordinance 1283. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That's unanimous. This bond ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, bond 1284.
Bond 1284 is a bond ordinance providing for various 2024 capital acquisitions and improvements by and for the parking utility of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union, State of New Jersey, appropriating $640,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $640,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance the cost thereof.
I'll entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Clerk, we have a roll call.
Roll call, bond 1284. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This bond ordinance has been introduced on first reading, and that concludes ordinances on first reading for this evening.
Thank you. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for all public comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. If any member wishes to speak that are on the phone, you may call in. You can make your way up. The numbers are on YouTube or online or on the city's website conspicuously posted. Please state your name and address for the record.
Be better this time.
You can speak about any topic that's on your mind.
Okay, Julie Davidovich, 1121 Woodland Ave. I just wanted to thank you for tabling the issue. I really genuinely appreciate it. I wanted to leave you with a couple of things before I left tonight. I need to make it known that as homeowners in this community, we have the right to be free from public or private nuisances. That means we have the right to avoid air pollution and distress from that. We have the right to avoid odors and noise pollution, right? So that is what we're paying for. Additionally, there was a bunch of numbers that were thrown around. This is a Sleepy Hollow section of Plainfield, okay? It is pricier to live in. I don't know why this number of 400,000 came up because I don't believe it to be accurate. The reason why is because, again, I'd like this on the record, I've personally spoken to the owner of the property. And the reason why I said the number 5 is because he told me directly that his plans are to build 5 homes. Okay? So I'm sorry that I know that that's not going to be very well received by whomever is for the redevelopment, but I have to keep it real. I just have to be honest. This is what he wants to do. And we can sugarcoat it and make it, we could dress up the lie as much as we want, but that's what it is. And I could, if it pleases you, I could certainly have another discussion with him, record it, and then bring it in for everybody to hear so that we don't have to have this back and forth, with people, certain people suggesting that a number has not actually been discussed, because I know from the horse's mouth that it has, and I don't want to pretend that it hasn't. So that's just what I want to leave you with, because it's honestly, it's where we live. And again, I told you I'm listing my house. Part of the problem is because of the school district. I think everybody knows that. And I have to private school my daughter, right? And it's not cheap. And I need to, if I'm going to get $800,000 out of my house, I can move to another town and be in a school district, right? That's good. And not have to feel like I need to pay for private school. and I'm spending between, just basic, 10,000, and then with aftercare, 20. So it's not, it's really expensive, actually, for me to live in Plainfield. And I'm not going to pretend that it's not, and I'm not going to pretend that Sleepy Hollow and that section is not pricey. If you go on Zillow with your own eyes and you look at it, you will see what the home values are there. And that's going to devalue that area. If you did put down a $400,000 house, now the people who are living there are going to lose money on their properties that they worked for their entire lives. And that's just, that's not building up our community. It's going to tear it down. I mean, right? Don't know? So we don't want to have higher value homes and like have a value for everything that we've worked for our entire lives. That's what I thought. I'd like to be able to refinance my house.
Let's be courteous. But deed restricted land is different than market value. Come, name and address for the record, sir.
My name is Robert F. Edwards. I live at 510A West 4th Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. It's also known as Joanne Hollis Gardens. I am a tenant that I've been a tenant for about 44 years. Currently, I'm homeless because although I don't owe any rent, the Housing Authority, in retaliation for my activism and taking them to court, winning some issues and some other pending issues, have been consistently, remotely and manually releasing toxic substances into the apartment when I'm asleep, when I'm not there. And this has been going on since approximately October, when I first raised the issue of electromagnetic radiation. Since then, I've been to about 5 different emergency rooms. I'll just articulate just a few with their comments. And Hackensack Meridian, reason for visit, dizziness, cough, diagnosis, exposure to gastric substances. This picture here, which was taken obviously on their property, New York Lagoon Health Institution. On June 13th, my doctor sent me to New York to be tested to determine if in fact there was a specific gas or exactly what was the substance. They couldn't actually identify what specific gas, but they said that your skin has been exposed to a chemical and is suspected to be hazardous because of the lesions and the physical effects that this exposure has had to me. But the biggest issue is that not only are they coming in, spraying the apartment, breaking things, trashing my apartment, but somehow or another, these people have been able to find a substance in which they can remotely release whatever the substance is into the apartment, in which I will not wake up. They will come in, trash the apartment, leave little signs like we're here and you can't do anything about it. That is not only dangerous to my health and my life, that is a crime. And I have about 4 or 5 medical, one more sentence.
You can finish your sentence.
4 or 5 emergency room visits, and they all are consistent with toxic exposure. You have a
Thank you so much.
significant
Oh, you
criminal
started another
activity
sentence.
going on.
We appreciate it. Thank you, though.
What did you say?
I said you started another sentence. It's fine, though. Thank you for your comments. And if you want to leave any of reports that you have with the clerk's office regarding your condition, then
You can make copies of all those if you want. If you have, if you
Just-
have the ability to make copies tonight, or I can bring it in the morning.
maybe not tonight, but you can take them to the clerk's office and they will make copies for you.
Not a problem.
For us.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Jerry Fosu, 911 Leland Avenue. My concern is with all the development going on in the city, I'm concerned about the younger youth and also the inclusion that's going on. I don't see a lot of inclusion on these job sites, whether it's contractors that's from the city or whether it's the workers that are working on these job sites. I mean, we love to build a city, but what is building a city when we can't build the people who live in the city to be able to pretty much experience the city? I know there's some people here who have talked to me. We have worked to try to bring some more inclusion and bring some resources and teaching the younger generation to pretty much have the skills to be able to apply themselves in all this development that's going on. So that's my biggest concern. When I drive around, it's nice, you're seeing these things going on, but I don't see where the trickle factor of our taxpayers' money is going down, where we also as contractors are going to get some of the benefits from all this development going on, especially if there's tax breaks going on. Let's we put some of that money into teaching the youth and teaching other generations, people who have lack of skills, into being able to get into these trades so they can also benefit their lives. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Sir, if you have people that you know who are interested in the trades, please make sure we have that information after the meeting. Name and address for the record, ma'am. Good evening.
Pamela Dunn, 750 West 4th Street, Plainfield, New Jersey, not related to the Dunn and Sons. Okay. My issue is public safety. My concern right now is the lack of crossing guards. It's been my concern for the past 2 years. I now have the Plainfield Police Department non-emergency number on speed dial because I've been calling numerous times last year. So I'm starting early this year because 1, our streets aren't painted properly. 2, the signs, you could barely read them where the kids are crossing. 3, Spooner and 7th is the worst street in the morning for these kids to cross. Hubbard is on 8th. Anybody living on the west end got to walk across 7th to get to Hubbard. I've already spoken to the county for 7th Street to come and paint that, and I'm going to be on my friend's back for that. My second concern is the crossing guards. I was told that we were advertising for crossing guards. I haven't seen a sign yet. I spent the whole month of July riding around looking for signs saying you're looking for crossing guards. I was told you could do it on social media, whatever. But the people who are crossing guards, everybody doesn't have access to the internet. And the older people, including myself, sometimes can't go on the internet and fill an application. So now, I'm starting early. I want to know, I haven't heard anything, this is my first meeting, I haven't heard anything about public safety. I heard about these redevelopments. You guys ain't building no community center for these kids. So where are they going? And in the community center now, you can teach these kids some skills or whatever the case may be. We don't have it. You got Ys that are closed, just sitting there. The demographics of this city has changed, and I know you all know that. So therefore, the public schools is twice as many. You have nobody crossing these kids. I am a bus driver for special needs. I've crossed kids on 7th Street myself in the bus. I don't even work for the city of Plainfield. So what is that telling us? We're developing all these developments, these fancy apartments that nobody can afford. I would like to know where the $1,600 studio apartment is, because I haven't seen it. My goddaughter's paying $1,900 for 1 bedroom. The median is $70,000. Come on. All I want is for public safety to do something about the crossing guards and the street signs. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you so much. Do you know, do you or someone you know interested in crossing guards?
I've been calling. I don't get no return phone calls.
I'll get your number at the end, okay? Thank you.
I'll return that phone call. I told her about tonight's meeting.
Nancy Pivar, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. First of all, I want to thank the city council. I know that that property is going to come up again. My concern is the environmental. I would like to see that property cleaned up and not be used as intensively as a developer in the city has wanted it to be used. Back in 2021, you did a grand opening of the Elmwood Square Apartments, which is a 52-unit townhouse complex on West 2nd Street. Something like that would be more appropriate for that. I am very passionate about the environment. I grew up in Plainfield, near all the chemical plants. I played on a contaminated ball field, and most people don't know this. Muhlenberg Hospital saved my life. I'm not in any cancer studies that have ever been written, but I'm a survivor of cancer at the age of 22. All right? And that's why I'm so passionate about property being cleaned up in this city that was misused and abused through the years. And I feel like I have to say it for the future generation and for my future citizens and for the young children that have to pass by and have to breathe the air and the dirty water. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody here tonight, but I do appreciate what you did, and I would hope that the developer would consider it. It's a beautiful development, but it doesn't belong that intense in that area to create such a public safety issue, not just for the residents in the area, but for our police department and fire department. It's 4.10 miles, it's 4/10 of a mile, almost a half a mile from Plainfield Avenue to Grant Avenue. There is no access north or south. If something happens down there on Brookside Place or in the middle of Front Street, a house starts to burn, there's no way a fire engine is going to get through there, especially with the way the traffic is there. So I appreciate what you've done tonight, but I really would hope that you would reconsider some of what you did. You did a beautiful thing for the Elmwood Square Apartments. Something like that should be done on that property where Marino's was and the other auto body shop, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Jerry Fosu, 911 Leland Avenue. I think you
And
mentioned...
you spoke already, right?
Yes, I think you mentioned something about if I knew any people that wanted training.
Yeah, so when the meeting's over, let's exchange information because I want to get that information from you. Thank you, sir.
Sal Carano, 1284 East Front Street. Thank you again for listening. We didn't solve all the world's problems tonight, but you heard some of the public. So I appreciate your movement, or the lack of, this evening. Babylon, Long Island has 2 dispensaries. Now, recently I was on CBAC, one of a number of members on CBAC reviewing the city's budget, and we discussed concerns with our dispensaries and what is being done about those that are in need, whether of drug issues, drug problems, whatever, and felt some resistance that there's no proof, from the administration I might add, that there's no proof that marijuana does this, marijuana does that. I understand, whatever those thoughts may or may not be, but Babylon, Long Island, raised $1 million, 2 dispensaries, dedicated it not to the general budget, but to specifically deal with its citizens for drug problems, alcohol, drugs, marijuana, edibles, whatever your issues are, specifically earmark the money raised from that. People say, well, we don't do that with liquor stores. Okay, start doing it. Start addressing more your community's needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address for the record, sir. Good evening.
Stephen Grimes, 33 Westerville Avenue. There's a club that's on Watchung, 44 Watchung Ave. I live 2 blocks away from this club. And every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I can hear their music. It's so loud with my window shut. I was wondering if you guys can consider, like, looking into this, because it's, like, ridiculous. I've been losing sleep. Again, it says 44 Watchung Avenue. I live at 33 Westerville, and it's ridiculous. That's all I have.
Good evening again.
Hey, good evening again. Address again, right?
Sure, name and
Okay,
address.
Quanae Chambliss, 12227 East Front Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. First of all, I want to thank you all for listening to your citizens tonight and tabling that. That is very important. Even if you're going to go back and vote for it anyway, at least you let people know that you heard them and you're going to think about that. Very good. Number 2, I heard someone say that they don't know you all. I just want to say I know just about all of you. And I've only been here just a year. And that's because I see you out and about in the community, participating in different things, shaking hands, letting people know who you are. So I will say you're not just seen at election time. You are seen because I'm new and I know you all. So just want to give you credit for that. But I also want to say I need you to look at the sidewalks, especially the indentations that are there for people who have wheelchairs or walkers or mobile issues like myself. In particular, the sidewalk on, I think that's East 2nd Street in Watchung, where the post office is. I had to go to the post office today, and because I take Access Link, you have to wait an hour and a half. So I decided I'd go have breakfast over at the Texas Wiener. When I tell you that sidewalk is a whole mess, it's a whole mess. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen. It's cracked, it's brittle, it's broken up, and it just really needs to be repaved. And I've seen that a couple times. And so if I wasn't a person who had mobility issues, I probably would have never noticed it. But since this is my lot in life for the last year, I'd like for us to look at those corners to make sure that they are appropriate for people who have wheelchairs, walkers, canes, or some sort of mobility issue. And let's get those fixed, because we don't need unnecessary lawsuits for things that we can fix. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marie Ansari, Watchung Avenue. Our residents who presented tonight were fabulous. We have such talent, and I agree with those who said, thank you for listening and tabling. But tabling means the issues will be back. So residents, please keep involved. Please keep up with what's going on in our beautiful city, because I really have to believe that the majority of people want to be proud of where they live. Comments like it's just a study have led to a lot of the irreversible issues we've got going. So please keep that in mind. And I'll end with trees are good, open space is good. We don't have to fill every little space. And I love the idea of take a breath, and hopefully it's a nice, healthy breath because of the environment that we're creating. So thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, do we have anyone online?
We have one person, caller 030. Please unmute yourself.
In-person public comment is now closed. And the person online, the floor is yours.
Watching us on the live stream, please mute your YouTube and then speak.
What's going on in music, because I really have to believe that the majority of people want to be proud of where they live. Like it's just a study has led to a lot of the irreversible.
Caller, if you're watching the stream, please mute the live stream.
So please keep that in mind. And I'll end with
Currently muted them. It seems like they might be listening to a loop. They might have a feedback loop due to the fact that they are watching the live stream.
Council President, it's a 45-second delay. There's a delay on the live.
Yeah, it's obvious.
So if we could afford that resident some time.
It's been like 30 seconds so far.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Try speaking again.
yes. We have one person, caller 030. Please unmute yourself.
It sounds like you still have the live stream open. Can you please
Hello?
mute it? Hi, we can hear you.
Yes, Gloria Binkowski. Gloria Binkowski, Woodmere Place. I don't know if I'm unmuted. I will tell you that. Okay. Hi, Gloria Binkowski, Woodmere Place in Plainfield. You know, a couple of things I would like. I mean, I've lived in Plainfield for a very long time. I like Plainfield so much. And one thing I would say, why can't you, I've been calling in to this meeting, and it's a little bit, not quite right. I think we should have Zoom meetings as well as in-person meetings. That's number one. And what was number two? I really, that's one of the main things that really, for participation, we should have meetings in person and Zoom meetings, and also the agenda for the meetings should be available to everyone for at least a week before. And yes, you can make changes the day or two before, but really to have the agenda put out the day or two before the meeting, that does not encourage participation, good participation, and people cannot research the topics. So I hope you, Mr. Hockaday, you will do that. And I also did want to comment on the deer situation. And in the past year or two, it seems like it's been kind of undercover that Plainfield has not come out and said it's okay to kill deer in our city. It's just been left. Well, the city says the county, it's the county's decision. The county says it's the city's, and there's no one who's taking responsibility. And I will tell you that yes, last year 2 deer were found with, and this was brought to the attention, with arrows in them wandering through Scotch Plains, and the county said, well, we're doing an investigation, but we've opened it, and no one was doing an investigation. There was a deer the year before found with an arrow in Cedar Brook. Well, who did that? Well, nobody. It was never determined who did what. And then there was an arrow found in Plainfield. So come on, folks. We know it's not to do with Lyme disease. We know it's not to do with car accidents. We know it's got to do with, it has to do with a bunch of.
Okay, anybody else online?
Yes, we have one more caller.
Okay.
Caller ending in 596, please unmute yourself, and if you're on the live stream, please mute that.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Good evening. My name is Danielle Kasperzak, 1724 Watchung Avenue. I'd like to start by thanking you all this evening for thoughtfully discussing the resolutions, and to Councilors Cherry and Sessoms, thank you very much for your dissent towards some of the resolutions that are being raised and asking them to be tabled. I'd like to speak on R34324 as a resident that lives around the corner from this area. I have looked up this location, and it is a woodland area, and I won't profess to know very much about environmental protection or DEP. But I will say that that is a very elevated area, and the amount of rain that we have received lately, even in my area, areas tend to puddle quite considerably. It causes a lot of damage to some residences. It causes a lot of flooding. My empathy towards the woman who lives at 1104 Woodland Avenue. She expressed her concerns about living across the street from this area, and I think that's worth considering. Somebody that lives directly across the street from an area that's on an elevated hill, if you do clear that woodland area, you do run that risk, even if you tend to raise it and try to bring it down to a level kind of plateau. I think there is still a concern that Randolph Road, that direction straight towards Hubstein Field, rain is going to go off in that direction, and we do have a beautiful stadium that we have just renewed. So I think we really want to consider the erosion to the homes that are in the area, to the football field that is in that area. And also, I'm not sure if the panel here is aware, or anybody that's on this call is aware, but there was a really nasty car accident on Woodland Avenue recently. I think it was on Southern Parkway, or right around the corner from that. And if you introduce more residences or more people to this area, you're going to affect that visibility. You're going to affect a lot more of the drivers that are in that area that come kind of tearing around that corner sometimes, or just not looking, or just blind areas. So I do think it's worth considering that maybe that's not a prime spot to consider redeveloping, and I know we're just talking about a redevelopment study, but I think we'd all be remiss if we didn't put our voices out there and ask to be heard, that perhaps we look at some other locations that really do need redevelopment and not our Greenland areas. I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Okay. Public comment is now closed. All right. Are there any other issues that we need to address from the administration? I think we're good. I think Director addressed everything.
No, I would just say in terms of the crossing guards, so I know that right now the PD is looking through the last crossing guard list and seeing who's still interested to know how many openings they have. But if you're interested in being one, or if you know someone who is, I would love to take your phone number, because we have a huge recruitment issue for crossing guards. And so I'd be pleased.
I went to the city of Plainfield, got a big illuminated sign. Crossing guard, they don't even have it on our sign saying have a great summer. We're not even advertising. So I get what you're saying, and I will talk to you, but I'm telling you now, we are not paying rent, just like our surrounding cities. We're not paying, and our surrounding cities is advertising, and we're not doing that. So public safety to me right now is a big issue.
Okay.
You can't even drive down
You two can have this conversation afterwards, all right? And you can give us some advertising tips, et cetera. Anything else? All right. Motion to adjourn the meeting. All right, meeting adjourned.
So moved.
Aye.